Kimi Antonelli didn't just win the sprint on race pace this weekend. He's now gone and grabbed the one-lap crown too, snatching pole by saving his very best lap for last. Stick with me, and by the end you'll see exactly where he won it and why Sunday could be his to lose. Let's start at the back because Q1 told a familiar story rather than a shocking one. Both Aston Martins were out, and not just out, slowest of everyone. Stroll 21st, Alonso dead last, the pair of them over 2 seconds off the cut. That's not a one-off. They've underperformed all season, but propping up the entire field at their home race stings. And the Williams slump goes on too. Albon missed the cut by just 76 thousandths. Agonizing, but part of a pattern now rather than bad luck. Perez and the Cadillac joined them. Nothing here shocked the paddock, and that's exactly the problem for these teams. Then Q2, and the session properly ramps up. Everyone's on fresh softs, 2-lap runs, flat out, and the margins get brutal. The 5 who missed the cut, Bortoleto 11th, Gasly 12th, Hülkenberg 13th, Behrman 14th, and Carlos Sainz only 15th, which caps another weekend of Williams underachievement, one car out in Q1 by hundredths, the other scraping through and going no further. Bortoleto actually dragged the Audi up nicely, and when the whole midfield runs the same new rubber on the same short runs, a 10th shuffles you 3 places. Right, that sets the stage. Now the fun bit. Q3, 10 cars, fresh softs, full qualifying mode, absolutely everything left on the table. This is the cleanest read you'll get all weekend on pure car plus driver pace, and Antonelli nailed it when it mattered most. Here's the detail that tells you everything. He didn't just hang on to pole, he extended his advantage on his final lap of the session, ice cold. Behind him, Charles Leclerc produced arguably his best lap of the whole weekend to grab second, with Lewis Hamilton third and George Russell fourth. That's the top 4 covered by less than 4 tenths. So how close was it really? Pole went by just 0.175 of a second, and the front 2 rows are packed tight. But the story of this grid is who dragged themselves up it. Isaac Hadjar is a stunning 5th, and that's around 3.5 places better than his season average. Leclerc's second is nearly 3 places up on his norm too, and young Arvid Lindblad hauled the Racing Bull up to 9th, again almost 3 spots better than usual. Those aren't flukes, those are drivers wringing the neck of their machinery. Which begs the question, where exactly did Antonelli find the time? Here's the honest answer, and it's not what you'd expect. Antonelli didn't actually top every sector. Leclerc was quickest through Sector 1, the opening flurry of corners. What won Antonelli pole was owning Sectors 2 and 3, the middle and the run to the line, and simply having no weak link. That's the mark of a great lap. You don't need to be fastest everywhere, you just need to be brilliant with no soft spot. Leclerc had the raw edge in one part of the lap. Antonelli had the complete package across all of it. Consistency beats specialism, and that's how a pole gets done. Now, the fairest test in the sport, same car, same tools, so what does the teammate battle say? Leclerc beat Hamilton by 0.172, and that matters because Hamilton had been the 1-lap benchmark all weekend, sprint pole and all. This isn't Hamilton falling apart, it's Leclerc finally clicking at the right moment. Over at Racing Bulls, it was almost a photo finish. Liam Lawson ahead of Lindblad by 5 thousandths of a second, basically dead even. And Antonelli's margin over Russell, a hefty 0.370. Russell looked close on the first runs in Q3, but couldn't repeat it when it counted, so don't overread that early flash of pace. And there are a couple of results here that genuinely made me sit up. Lance Stroll out-qualified Fernando Alonso. Doesn't sound like much until you realize that's the first time in over 2 years. Alonso's sprint race pace was actually fine, so it's the 1-lap side that's gone walkabout this weekend. Then the standout oddity, Franco Colapinto was a whopping 1.258 seconds off Pierre Gasly, when across the season he's usually only around a quarter of a second behind. That gap has completely blown out. Even Perez ended up behind Valtteri Bottas, a reversal of their usual order. Little details, but they tell you who's having a weekend to forget. Right, let's turn to Sunday because the picture is fascinating. Qualifying ran at 25 degrees, bone dry, and the race looks overcast at 24 with 0 chance of rain. Mild air, but the track could still climb to around 35 degrees, which pushes the tyres to the top of their operating window. That's when thermal degradation starts to bite, and any car that's hard on its rear tyres begins to overheat and fall out of the window. So the teams who can look after their rears over a stint suddenly have an edge that raw 1-lap pace never showed. Manage the heat, manage the race. And what's actually at stake? Antonelli leads the championship on 179 points, with Russell second on 136 and Hamilton third on 132. That's a commanding cushion for the poleman, and starting from the front with the race pace advantage he showed in the sprint, he's holding just about every card going into Sunday. Russell and Hamilton need the points, but from third and fourth on the grid, they've got work to do to get past two very quick cars ahead. This is Antonelli's race to lose, and that's not hype, that's just where the numbers sit. So here's the battle I'll be glued to. Antonelli and Leclerc on the front row, with two Ferraris and two Mercedes locking out the first two rows. Can Leclerc convert his best qualifying of the weekend into a genuine fight for the win, or does Antonelli simply drive off into the distance like he did in the sprint and keep an eye on Hadjar in fifth, punching well above where that car normally sits? Now I want to hear from you. Does Antonelli convert pole into another win, or does someone spoil the party? Drop your race prediction in the comments. I read them all, so there's your grid. Antonelli on pole by under 2/10, Leclerc heading a Ferrari that finally clicked, Hamilton and Russell hunting from row 2, and the standout climbers all weekend, Hadjar up to 5th and Lindblad into 9th, both wildly better than their season norm. The flip side, spare a thought for Alonso, dumped out in Q1 and beaten by his own teammate for the first time in years. Everything now points to a heat-managed race where looking after the rear tyres decides it. On paper, it's Antonelli's to lose, but Silverstone rarely does what the paper says. That is your qualifying, and Sunday is set up beautifully. If this helped you get set for the race, smash that like and subscribe. The race breakdown lands right after the flag.